Hey guys, how are we? Just wanted to do a check-in. How are we feeling about the $70 price point for video games since the price change happened a few years ago when the Xbox and PlayStation launched? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Harrison, and yeah, I want to talk about this. We're mainly talking about the Newzoo report that happened a couple of weeks ago. At this point, I meant to talk about it earlier, but I want to talk about it now. Because the report came that most gamers are playing games that are older. They're not playing a lot of new games. So I want to talk about that. But yeah, how are we feeling about this $70 price point? PlayStation led the charge with the increase in the base price tag to 70. When they launched the PlayStation, and Xbox took a year or so after to kind of follow along, and so did the other third-party developers. EA, I think, was pretty quick to jump on that trend. I think Capcom is finally starting to charge $70 games, especially with Dragon's Dogma 2. So pretty much everybody is on board with the $70 price point at this time. Honestly, I think maybe Bandai Namco is the only one left that they may have a $70 game. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I want to talk about how that could be potentially hurting the game industry. Now I know that games are getting more costly to make. The leaked reports from Insomniac a few months ago, where they talked about it costing over $300 million to develop Spider-Man 2. It obviously made its money back, but that is an insane amount of money to put into a development of a video game. So I don't know if this $70 price point is going to honestly last forever, because I think there's been talks about a video game crash, and I don't think that's going to happen, because the overall game industry is still very, very profitable. I'm going to read a report here in a little bit. But I think the cost of AAA game development is getting way too expensive. And I think we're going to start seeing maybe a slowing down of major AAA games, because they're just so insanely expensive to make. I think we're going to have companies start to kind of think about cutting costs. I know people say, whenever you hear the word AI, a lot of people get scared, but I think, AI can implement a really good thing. Obviously, we don't want people to lose their jobs, of course. But, speaking in terms of translation, that's a team takes a lot of time translating video games into other languages, and you could use AI to do that for you, and then have someone go over and make sure everything is accurate. That's definitely a possibility, but I don't want to talk about AI too much. But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of companies kind of slow down on the AAA releases. I mean, you just had Ubisoft come out, and call Skull and Bones a quadruple A game, which is utterly ridiculous. That makes no sense, and that game is not good. So it is what it is on that. But yeah, I think we're going to see a slowdown, and these companies trying to figure out how to cut the cost of these games, because they're just getting too expensive to make. So let's jump over to this article and let's read it and kind of talk about it. So for you guys, I'm going to have a list pulled up here that's going to have the top 10 games played, and this is in 2023. So I'm going to have that pulled up here for you guys. So this reporting was from Newzoo, but I'm reading an article from Kotaku, and I'll link that in the description below if you guys want to read it yourself. So a newly released game industry report by market researcher Newzoo shows that while the PC and console market grew 2.6% in 2023, which is pretty good, I think a lot of these companies saw massive revenue increase during COVID. And now that people are going back to work and have been back to work for a while, the overall buying of video games has probably slowed down significantly. So that's still pretty good. Overall playtime decreased as gamers spent more and more time in smaller lists of old games like Fortnite and League of Legends, which I just got back into Fortnite because they added the Avatar characters into it. April 2nd, Newzoo released its second annual game industry report, including a ton of data and information on what people are playing and spending money on during 2023. According to Newzoo's data, the PC and console game market grew and reached $93.5 billion in revenue in 2023. That might seem like a good news, but drilling down into the data, it becomes clear that it's only good news for a small number of publishers and developers. Newzoo's data shows that the top 10 games on each platform, ranked by their average number of monthly active users, or MAU, are filled with old established titles. Fortnite took the crown on all platforms, including Switch and PC. The rest of this list includes titles that won't surprise you, like Grand Theft Auto 5, Counter-Strike 2, Roblox, Minecraft, Rocket League, Apex Legends, Fall Guys, Valorant, and Call of Duty. I didn't realize Fall Guys was still doing that well. Across Xbox and PlayStation consoles, only one dedicated single-player game cracked the top 10, and that would be Starfield. That is insane to me. Yeah, considering like Spider-Man came out, last year, and that's not on PlayStation's, and that game sold very well, and that's not even on the PlayStation's top 10. And granted, it's for the entire year, and Spider-Man came out in October, so those numbers could be a little bit skewed. But it's also a single player game, right? It's gonna, people play it, they probably beat it within a week, and then they're done with it. And I want to have I'll do another video on this, but the way people look at concurrents, they view concurrents as if a game is doing well. And that's not the case. Like if it's a single player game and the game sells 10 million copies, that's pretty darn good. Most people, if it's not like a big game like Starfield, like a massive RPG, once they're done with the single player game, they're probably going to be done with it for a while until maybe an expansion comes out. I beat Spider-Man 2 within a week or so. I did everything. I platinumed the game. Fantastic game. But yeah, it's, once I'm done with it, like I'm done with it. So I want to do another video on that, but that's, yeah. To further prove the gamers are primarily focused on older games, Newzoo data shows that just 66 titles accounted for 80% of all playtime in 2023, and 60% of that playtime was spent in games that are 6 years old or older. In fact, in 2023, 5 old games, Fortnite, Roblox, League of Legends, Minecraft, or GTA 5, accounted for 27% of all playtime in the year. That's insane, man. People love Fortnite. The kids absolutely love Roblox, and then GTA 5, that online is insane. Especially with all like the role playing streams and stuff like that. It gets worse. Of the 23% of playtime spent in 2023 on new games defined as 2 years or younger, more than half was spent in big annual sequels like the latest Madden or NBA game. Only 8% of the video game's playtime was spent on a new non-annual titles like Diablo 4 or Baldur's Gate 3, which are both sequels, but they're not annual titles. That's crazy because like a lot of people played. A lot of people played Diablo 4, but like a lot of people played Baldur's Gate 3, and that didn't even crack the PC top 10. That is insane to hear. Like, think about how populated like Twitter was with all the Baldur's Gate 3 stories and content and stuff like that. Like people played the crap out of that game, and it sold incredibly well. While Newzoo's report does point out that you can still be successful in this environment, the reality is that gamers are spending less and less time in new games and more time in already established franchises and live service titles, making it hard for publishers and developers to find an audience. That's because, unlike in the decades before, you aren't just competing with whatever hot new game is on the shelves, but instead are fighting giants like Fortnite and Roblox. Completely free games with endless amounts of content created by their users. It will be increasingly challenging to grow a game's player base, said Newzoo in the report, particularly in our current landscape where evergreen titles and robust content pipelines reign supreme. In other words, good luck if you aren't making a big sequel, remake, or annual entry in a popular series. Yeah, that's insane. Fortnite has been incredibly successful pretty much since it launched, and they honestly, Epic has done just an absolute fantastic job of keeping the game relevant, adding new characters from other universes in there. It's pretty much like the metaverse that Facebook wanted to create, but you just played in Fortnite. You hang out with your friends, you do Battle Royale, and then you could do, they got Lego Fortnite, they got tons of stuff. And same with Roblox. There's so many different games in Roblox. There's a million different YouTubers that do Roblox content that all have millions of followers. like these live service games, while I'm not a big fan of live service, I don't think every game needs to be a live service. Like, you know, Spider-Man and The Last of Us probably, you know, there was that Spider-Man live service game that was leaked. I don't think we need every single game to be live service, and I don't want live service content in every single game. You know, I'm okay with once you're done with the game, you're done with the game, right? But the whole point of looking at this article, and while this stuff makes sense to me, I want to ask you guys, like, if you guys aren't playing, I generally play most big games that come out, whether it's on the PlayStation, the Switch, and Xbox. And I'll be honest, like the $70 price point does suck. You know, Tears of the Kingdom last year was the first, you know, $70, you know, Nintendo owned game that was $70. There's been $70 games on the Switch before, but I think those are all like special editions or something like that. But this was the first $70 game that Nintendo was, you know, trying to do. And that game sold incredibly well, but it kind of peaked around 19-20 million units. And who knows if that game is going to be an evergreen title. It doesn't seem to be selling that much more since it launched. Who knows if it's going to be an evergreen title like Breath of the Wild was, because that game sold 30 million. So who knows if that's going to even reach that. And maybe $70, that price point is too expensive for people. And I totally understand, you know, that's a lot. You're already spending $500 on these consoles, and then you're asking for $70 a pop per game. Luckily for me, my brother and I, we both have Xbox, but we do like the family share thing, where if one person buys it on their Xbox, the other person kind of gets a copy of the game. You kind of swap profiles. Like I have my profile, his Xbox, he has his profile on my Xbox. So when one person buys it, both people get it. And then we just, you know, say, hey bro, I'm going to buy this game, give me half. So we're really only spending $35 for this stuff. So that has really helped in the financial aspect of that, because again, I run a podcast and I like to keep up with major games. So I'm spending a lot of money on video games, and with Xbox in that specific scenario, it definitely helps out. On PlayStation, on the other hand, I just bought a PS5 not too long ago. It came with Spider-Man 2. Got the bundle. My brother let me borrow a few games, and I'm getting ready to buy Stellar Blade at the end of the month, and that's going to be my first $70 game on PlayStation. So while with the Xbox stuff, and I usually play all the major third-party stuff on Xbox. I prefer the Xbox platform, to be honest. I really just enjoy the controller. Although the PlayStation 5 controller is really good. But I've always preferred the Xbox controller. So we play most of our third-party stuff there. So that definitely helps. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think. Does the $7 price tag hurt you? Obviously it does, but like, has it stopped you from buying like every major game? Are you more conscientious with what you're spending on versus, like, maybe before you would, it's $60, I'll buy the game, hopefully it's good, or now maybe are you more dependent on reviews because you're spending an extra $10? And then on top of that, you have these companies like Ubisoft with Star Wars Outlaws, where they have $130 like gold option where you can get the game like a week early. It's crazy how much these developers are asking us to spend on these games for early access and a little bit of extra content. Obviously, I know that it comes with like the season pass and stuff like that, but man, it's crazy. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know. Would love to get a conversation started with you guys about that. And hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. Give it a click, and I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.